What's your news, man? Hope everything's okay. What up, though? Nice. Love Black Label. Yo, what up? What up with the machine? Thank you, Nick. You know, Ultimate Devotion was, I put a lot of work into that record, man. That was, whew, that took about 6 Guys like Ultimate Devotion because, like I said, I put a lot of work into it. A lot of late nights on that record. I'd love to have it up. One of these days I'm going to have it remixed. You guys gotta understand, I love recording. I love being in the studio. Let's stop the music for this one. Let's stop the music. Listen, I love recording. I love being in the studio. I mean, listen, man, I could make 20 records a year, but somebody's got to pay the bill. I can't just go out of my pocket and make records, And a lot of my solo records I've paid out of my pocket. And I can't afford that, So anyway, point is that if I had more of a backing from a label, I could be in the studio making even better records, So the fact that I even put out only 4 solo records, it's not a lot. But for the most part, the first 2, the bill was paid by Shrapnel Records and Mike Varney over at Shrapnel. I'm very grateful that he always paid for the studio time, which was great. But now at this point, it's very expensive, to pay somebody to record a record, and it sucks honestly that some label hasn't put out my solo records, because I really could be recording some of my best stuff if I had the proper support from a label to put out this stuff. You would think by now Nuclear Blast or one of those metal labels that I've worked with in the past would be interested, but I haven't. I'm still reaching out, trying to get some sort of conversations going, because let me tell you, man, you haven't seen nothing yet from me. I promise you, you haven't seen nothing. What you think about me and what I've played on past records, I promise you, this is just the beginning, guys. I constantly am writing, constantly working on new riffs, and I got so many new songs. I mean, my project Revenge Beast, we do have a label actually who is supporting us and putting out that stuff, and you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it, man. That record's gonna blow your mind away when this new Revenge Beast drops. It's gonna really, it's some of the best stuff I've ever done, and I don't struggle in the studio, at all, and all I gotta say is you haven't seen nothing yet. You've seen nothing. I got so much more to give, so get ready, because I'm gonna be rocking and shredding for you guys. My favorite scale, right now, I'm very much into what I believe they're calling the Egyptian pentatonic. This is really cool. I was using it a little bit before. So it's basically a pentatonic, right? You take your pentatonic scale and just sharp the second note. So I'm in, this is G pentatonic right now. G, A. So I go to the B instead of going to the A sharp. Sorry. Love it. I've been trying to get used to throwing those in. Here it is in E minor. Eric Johnson uses that a lot. I think I've heard John McLaughlin do it a lot too on those old Mahavishnu records. So I've been really into that lately. It sounds very exotic to my ear. I used to do something similar to that. Same thing basically, but this is just 2 notes per string doing it like this. Which is funny, it actually makes it harder to pick. I'm still trying to figure that out, why that is, but anyway, guitar still perplexes me, man. I think it always will, and I love it. I'm obsessed with it, you know? So, yeah, that's it. All right, another book bag question someone asked. Guys, it's just a book bag. Listen, I'm not the only one that was doing it. A lot of people were rocking book bags in the scene that I grew up in here in New Jersey, New York, the hardcore shows. People would come in, we'd all wear book bags in the mosh pit. People would go on stage with a book bag. It really wasn't something I started. I'm not the only one that was doing it. I think just because El Nino hit the road and we went worldwide, it became more of a, you know, people were seeing it worldwide. But where I grew up, it was nothing new. It was nothing different. So, yeah. People ask me, you're gonna wear the book bag with El Nino? I'll wear it for you guys, all right? Because I care, and everybody keeps asking me, are you gonna wear the book bag? So I'll put it back on. There's that scale, guys. It's real exotic to my ear. I don't remember, you know, the Camaro guys, I love those guys. I love that band. I toured with them a lot back in the day. And I still don't know why they named their song Rizzo. I don't know why that is. You have to ask them. I don't think it was about me. I don't know. Just a random thing. Maybe it is. I don't know. They never told me if it was or not. I think I asked them years ago, and they said it had nothing to do with me, but I don't know. Ask those guys, man. I love Chimera, so I don't know why they would. If they did write it about me, I'd be flattered. I don't know. You know, I really don't know. Let me know. Get back to me, because I'd like to know too. Yeah, what'd Rob say? I'd like to know. I don't think I think I asked them years ago. To the book bag and the spin kicks, you know, it's really funny. Sorry, I heard something. Anyway, it's just really funny because, and I'd love to talk about it, is, you know, growing up in the 90s, early 90s, late 90s, where I grew up here in Jersey, I think we had the best music scene. You know, I always say this in interviews, how, like, growing up right outside New York City, I mean, I'm looking at New York City right out my window right here. You know, this area had such a vibrant music scene of all different types of music. Everybody knows hip hop was started in New York, punk rock, you know, origins are from New York, jazz. And, you know, that being said, I was always going to all different types of shows when I was a kid growing up around here. I'd go to New York City and see hardcore shows. I would go see rap shows. I would go see metal shows, jazz gigs. I'd go down to the Village, see jazz. And I feel like we really, before the internet, this area had its own thing, big time, that I don't think people were really that much grasping onto it unless you came here and saw gigs and saw shows. One of my favorite metal bands of all time is Overkill. And I grew up seeing them every weekend here in New York, New Jersey, and you know, I wasn't the first person throwing spin kicks on stage. There was other people in the hardcore scene here in New York and New Jersey that were doing that. Nor was I the only one wearing a book bag. It's just that El Nino became kind of more international in the early 2000s. Have a great nice. That's awesome. I also have great respect. That's awesome. Yeah, Rob is awesome. Man. He's a great guitar player, man. I love Chimera. But the point is that that vibe that I was giving off on stage with the book bag and the spin kicks, dude, that wasn't just me. Like I didn't invent it really. I mean, I just was in one of the first bands that kind of went a little more international than some of the bands in my area, and so I guess it became. I don't know. It became something, but listen, I wasn't the only one, man. And people from my area will tell you that too. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like a fashion statement. People just went to shows and wore a book bag and threw spin kicks, and that was the way we slam dance at shows, man. So anyway, yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. So go look at there was a great hardcore band from Jersey called Furia 5, and that guitar player, man, he threw some crazy kicks on stage. It wasn't just me. And then do you have any plans to join any? Well, I'm doing El Nino again, which is super cool. Before we ever met. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought, Dex. Yeah. Yeah, Chimera's song Rizzo, I think they had that song before they met me. So it had nothing to do with me, man. It was just random that we started touring. Great song, great band. I love Chimera. So but the dog's name at Third Stone Recording Studio past that was named Rizzo. That's all right. Well, cool. There it is. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. They maybe they didn't want to tell me that. But I remember asking them years ago what that song was about, and I'd never heard the dog story. But that's cool. That's a cool story. A dog named Rizzo. I dig it. I can relate. But again, man, Chimera was great. Chimera was one of those bands that I toured with a lot in the beginning of El Nino. We were like the first year of touring in 2001. Every tour we got on, Chimera was on it. Right on, Tomas. What amps and cabs do you use when recording or playing live? I'm really not picky, guys. I love PV stuff. I love old Marshalls. Right now, I'm using the Boss Katana head. I really like that head. I'm not that picky with cabinets, guys. I mean, when it comes to tone and gear, I've always said I love the Gibson SG, and I really rely on more technique. So that is already that Mark named the song after the dog. Yeah, it might have been it, Dex. I guess that was a story. That's what they're saying. So there it is. Overkill. Yeah, Overkill's my favorite band of all time. I always say that. So anyway, the point of the story was Chimera. Dude, those guys were unbelievable. When the whole new metal thing was going on, Chimera was they had riffs that were kind of similar, but they were still technical, and I love that. About this dog and this dog. That's cool. Well, there it is, Dex. That's the story. Chimera has a song called Rizzo because it's named after a dog. So there it is. Cool. I'm glad to hear that. I love those guys, man, and I hope they, do a reunion record because they really were a very cutting edge band. I think they were ahead of their time. They were one of the first bands during that new metal era that were like, "F you, man. We're gonna be doing metal. We're gonna be playing solos. We're gonna be playing technical riffs, man." And I give them props for that because I wanted to do that back in those days too, man. I never really was a big new metal guy, even though I was in a band that kind of got lumped into the new metal thing. I still wanted solos and technical riffs, and actually we're doing that now with the new El Nino. You're going to hear a lot of solos on the new record, and the riffs are a little bit more complicated, so it's pretty cool. I'm excited for that. Yeah, so any more questions, man? I'm still working on those Eric Johnson licks, man. Sorry, guys. I'm probably driving everyone crazy with that. I just love it, man. My favorite tour with Soulfly. Good question, Eric Santos. Favorite tour. I'm gonna probably say we had a lot of obviously great tours playing with other bands. I'm gonna probably say one of my favorite tours that I remember because I was such a fan of the band and it was amazing that we toured with them was um, Suffocation. It was I think back in 2015 we did a U.S. tour with Suffocation, and let me tell you, man, I watched it every single night. I would go on the side of the stage and watch Suffocation destroy and blow us off the stage every night. I mean, Terrence is one of my favorite death metal guitar players. They were so tight, so professional, well rehearsed. We got smoked every single night, man. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I was so inspired. That's basically that was really where like I came with this idea. Like, man, I want to start something similar to Suffocation, and that's why I started Revenge Beast. Was because I love that style, man. I've always loved Suffocation. They've always been one of my favorite death metal bands, and I never really knew them, even though we kind of grew up in the same area. I never really met Terrence until I toured with Suffo, and we became really good friends, and they're such cool guys. And man, Terrence is a beast. He's one of my favorite guitar players of all time, and he's got such a vibe and feel to his riffing and grooves. They were one of the first death metal bands to really introduce the breakdowns, man. So yeah, why has Soulfly never toured with Ectomorph? That's a great question, Eric. That's a great question. Honestly, I think there's a little bit of friction, sort of, with how close Ectomorph kind of sounded to Soulfly in the beginning. And I love Ectomorph, and I think Zoli's super talented. I think he really took that style, he ran with it, and I think he developed his own style. And I love Ectomorph. I've loved them from day one, man. They're super tight. They put on a great show. Zoli is very talented, great guitar player, great singer, great frontman. But I think maybe the powers that be in Soulfly just didn't want to ever see Ectomorph and Soulfly tour together. I don't agree with it because I love Ectomorph. Again, I think those guys are freaking awesome, man. Love that band, and I would have loved to tour with them, And I'm friends with Zoli. We talk, and I know we've talked about doing a tour, maybe with my solo stuff and Ectomorph. And I would love to do it. I would love to do something with Ectomorph. I think they are a great band, very great band. And yes, they were very influenced, I think, in the beginning by Soulfly, which was cool. It was cool to see a new band come out when they first started and have that vibe to them. But I think they really took that era of the more groovy era of Soulfly, the first two records, and took it to the next level. And I think that's cool. I think that's cool when bands are influenced by something else, and even though it's a big influence, they even admit to it. I mean, I don't think Ectomorph would ever say that they were not very influenced by Soulfly. They obviously were. And I think now they've developed their own style, and I love that band. I think they're cool guys, and I think they're a great band. Very great band. So, you know who else is like that? I love that band, Ectomorph. I just said Ectomorph. I'm sorry. I love that band, Greta Van Fleet, that is like Zeppelin. I mean, they're obviously very influenced by Led Zeppelin. And that kid is a great guitar player. He plays some beautiful SGs. And I love that band. I think they don't deny that they weren't influenced by Zeppelin, I can't come same songs. But I missed that, sorry. Yeah, well, listen, man, Ectomorph again. They were very influenced by that like Roots era, Sepultura, the first Soulfly record. But I think now they've really their newer stuff is their own thing. And I think once you hear them, now you can hear it. Like that's Ectomorph. Like they've developed their own style, man. So, good for them. But yeah, I love that band Greta Van Fleet. That's another band that was very influenced by Zeppelin. They don't deny it, and cool. That's awesome. We're never gonna get a Led Zeppelin reunion now. Zeppelin's never gonna probably put out a new record. I support Greta Van Fleet. I think they're freaking incredible, man. They're actually like one of my favorite like newer bands out there right now. So that's cool, man. man. Love Machine Head, man. Machine Head's great. Right on, man. Hey, listen, man. I love most metal guys. I mean, if you're going on stage and you're playing your instrument and giving 100% on stage, I'm really gonna love your band. It's simple as that, you know. Do you like the band Police Queen? I never heard of Police Queen. Do you mean the Police and Queen? Yes, I Yeah, but I would love to do something with Ectomorph in the future, man. You know, I dig what they do. I'm a big fan, very big fan. Do you have any hopes of Sepultura reuniting? I don't think it'll ever happen. And honestly, I don't need it. It's fine. Like I've said, I love their new record, man. I think it's great, the direction they're going in now. So, but yeah, I don't see it ever happening. Can't get enough of this guitar, guys. Can't get enough. Do you use your Viper guitar? I don't have any more, man. I wish I did. They were great guitars, you know. Angus Young is one of my biggest heroes. Just when you think you've heard all he has with her. Yo, it's true, man. I love ACDC, man. I don't get people. I think most people love ACDC, but people that don't, I don't get it. I mean, to me, that's the beginning of hard rock and heavy metal, and I love Angus Young. He's incredible, man. And you're right. He's constantly coming up with like new, different kind of ideas, and I think he's a better guitar player than he was back in the day. And the guy's like what 60 something years old, and he still gets up there and rocks out, jumps around, does the duck walk. I mean, he's incredible. What was the guitar amp cab setup for a Blunt Force Trauma record? Good question. That was absolutely, definitely. I was using my BC Rich Stealth 7 string and the Chuck Schuldiner 6 string model. And what else? For amps, I think I was using the 6505 for PBs. Definitely, that's what I was using. Still kind of similar tone I get. EMG pickups, you know, so that's my vibe, man. That's definitely what I brought to the band was that EMG tone, you know. Imposters and thieves. Well, I mean, look, man. He said what he said about them. You know, I don't think they care. And again, dude, Andreas is shredding up there. His guitar playing is better today than what it was. I was just listening to the record the other day, and man, I'm like, how does he do that, man? He's got some classical pieces that blew me away. The solos, it was like, I don't even know what scale that is, man. I'm inspired. Good stuff. Good stuff. What else, guys? What else? If you notice, man, I kind of do the Archangel tapping. You asked that the other day, didn't you? ESP version of classic SGs. I think I know what you're talking about, right? That's the more like wood color on those ESPs. Yeah, they seem cool, man. I mean, I don't know, man. ESP, I was with them for a long time, and I loved them. They had a rep there for a while that didn't really acknowledge um, things I've done over the years playing their guitars, which was fine, whatever. So that's why I moved on. Um, but of course they make great stuff. We all know that. We all know that. But I prefer. I mean, come on. A lot of those older ESP models, like the Viper, the V, the Eclipse, it's based on Gibson stuff, man. You know, and they made it affordable, and they definitely supported a lot of their musicians back in the day. So, you know, it's great guitars. It's awesome. Um, but would I play one again? Yeah, sure. Actually, the new El Nino record, I did play an ESP Viper for all my solos and stuff, and it's a great guitar. I like any guitar that's shaped like an SG. You know. All right, so the tapping in Archangel, dude. I don't really. I gotta go back and listen to it. No, it was like. All right, I gotta go back and learn it, and then I'll play it. You know, but it was an example of a very very simple riff, right? And then I went. That's it, right? That's it. You know, this is something where Max would come up with three notes, something very simple. All right, he came up with that, and that was the riff. Three notes. I didn't want to play three notes. It just doesn't. It doesn't do anything for me. So that's where I would go. That's it. There it is. That's it. That's what I would do. I would take his very simple riffs and try to do something more musical and more melodic to it. Is that considered writing? You tell me. Leave a comment. You tell me what you consider that. To me, that made the whole song. Was that? Something like that, but in a different tuning. I was playing a 7 string. You know, for me, to my ear, I like stuff like that. It's interesting instead of just playing. Leave a comment. You tell me what you think. That's what really matters. Do you like the fact that Dave Mustaine is with Gibson now, and they made for him a modern version of Flying V? Yeah, I think that's freaking sick. Again, you know, Gibson was the first. They started all this. They were the very first company to make these guitars that metalheads were using back in the 60s and 70s, more hard rock, the pre-heavy metal. So I think it's great that Dave Mustaine went back to Gibson. They should support him. He played, you know, Gibson with Metallica. In Metallica, they all played Gibsons in the beginning. That was the first heavy metal guitar. That's how you got that heavy metal tone. You know, Tony Iommi playing in SG, guys. So, you know, a lot of these companies that came out in the 80s, they just took that Gibson idea or the Fender shape and they just kind of ripped them off. So I think it's cool that Dave Mustaine went back to play Gibson, and they rightfully so gave him his own motto because he deserves it. He's a living legend. He's a true living legend, and I think that's great because Dave Mustaine, dude. Listen, Dave Mustaine is a very very talented person, dude. To be able to play those riffs and his solos and sing melodically on top of that, dude, that is insane to me. That he blows me away still to this day. My favorite beverage drink, coffee. You guys know that, man. I'm a huge coffee drinker. Have you ever listened to Bashuka? I don't know who that is, bro. Duff, I'm sorry I missed that comment, dude. I gotta figure out how I can leave these comments up. They disappear on me and I can't keep up with them. I apologize. So just rewrite it again. But yeah, I'm very happy that Dave Mustaine is playing a Gibson. To me, that's the Megadeth sound. That's the Metallica sound. You know, it's pretty cool. The BC Rich Stealth was nice. That PRS 7-string was also cool. Did you also play Ibanez 7-string with Cavalier Conspiracy? Yes. So basically what was going on in 07, 08, when we started doing Cavalier Conspiracy, I definitely did a lot of writing, collaborating on that record. We were doing the low tunings, but I was also like, listen, man, I felt the pressure. Like, I got to put out some of my best leads. I think the record has to have leads. It's got to be something like those old Sepultura records. So that being said, I wanted to be able to have that perfect intonation of playing perfectly like I am right now, in the key of E, where the intonation's perfect, your bends, you can bend them perfectly tuned. There's no slack with low tuning of the strings. So I started playing seven string, and the first seven string that I got my hands on was just like a cheap Ibanez. I think it was RGX or whatever it was called, and I brought that out on the tour in '08. I was still endorsed with PV, and I was using PV six strings for the more six string tuning songs where we tuned to D standard. Um, and then I started using that Ibanez seven string for stuff that was in B. And then that's when BC Rich approached me about doing a signature, and we did the Stealth model, which was a great guitar. I know it's become like a sought after um, seven string for death metal fans because it's perfect for death metal guitar players. You know, you got your seventh string, but you got the Floyd Rose for dive bombs because I was doing a lot of that back then, and EMG pickups. I mean, it's a to me the BC Rich Stealth was like my signature model was the perfect death metal guitar, and that was the direction we were definitely going into with Soulfly and Cavalier Conspiracy. So it served its purpose, man. It was really an awesome guitar. But around that time, I was doing a lot more of my solo tours, and as you know, my solo stuff, I do more jazzy stuff here and there. I would go do gigs in New York City where I was just playing more jazz fusion, and I felt weird playing the stealth shape. It was too metal, too pointy. I didn't need the Floyd Rose really. So that's when I went over to PRS. Do you ever feel pressure to write a lot of riffs in your songs, or do you like more simple? No pressure at all, Duff. No pressure at all. Writing for me comes very natural. I don't struggle. I don't go into vortexes and not be able to come up with anything. Um, I could sit down literally right now. I don't want to brag, but I could sit down and write a whole record right now if I wanted to. I just love to play. I have a passion for it, and I always preach if you know your scales and your chords, you're never going to run out of ideas because a lot of times when people run out of ideas, it's because they don't know where to put their fingers. And when you know where to put your fingers in keys, you know what you're doing, and you'll write songs very easily because they never played a great CC song. That yeah, I mean, look, guys, the truth of the matter is it was not called Cavalier Conspiracy anymore, and it was switched to Cavalier. Um, Honestly, it was to cut me out, to not give me my fair share of originally what the band was. We were three guys. I wasn't cut in 100%, but it was a fair share for myself, and I was very happy with it, and I worked very hard. But when they changed it to just Cavalera, it was to cut me out of publishing and just get me back on a salary. It was kind of not cool, but whatever, dude. I still was very, very happy to go on stage and play for you guys and rock out, man. That was still. I always say to this day, my favorite part of my time with that camp was all the friends I made. You guys are all great. All the tours I did. I always made a point to meet you guys and hang out, and I love it. And that was the best part of my time, was getting to know all you guys and hanging out, and now you guys are coming to my gigs, and we keep this friendship going, and this party at my shows, and good times, man. So that was the best part of it all, and I'm grateful to that. What else, man? I'm gonna get out of here in a minute, guys. Heading back to the gym. But hey, here's the good news, man. All those Cavalier conspiracy songs that you guys love, I'm playing them at my solo gigs. So come on out. Also playing them at the Hail the Horn shows. So come. We make a point to play it just like the record, and have a good time with everyone. From Children of Bottom was guest host on the radio, wanted them to play Inflicted because he liked your playing. Oh, that's cool, man. I live in New Jersey, Eric. Can you play Spiral? I don't. What song is Spiral? Was that? I think that's off Savages, right? I don't remember, dude. We made so many records, and we made them fast. I mean, making a record in 2 weeks is really kind of not realistic. So a lot of those old records, I don't remember all the songs. I'd have to go back and listen to them. But Spiral, maybe I'll do a playthrough for Spiral, because I really don't remember which Soulfly song that was. I think it was on Savages. We didn't play a lot off that record, honestly, but yeah, maybe I'll do a playthrough for you, man. Yeah, which dude from Children of Bottom? I never really met the Children of Bottom guys. I was a big fan. I thought Alexi was a great guitar player. Um, so if he liked my playing, that's great, man. I mean, I think we were. Um, I was definitely very influenced when Children of Bottom came out. You know, that was that era when I was kind of. I had just left El Nino and I was starting to do more solos. And I remember when I first heard Children of Bottom, I was like, wow, man, great guitar playing. You know. Do I remember Fall of the Sycophants, the solo? No, I really don't, Eric. I'd have. I did a playthrough though, so go here on my YouTube channel. You can see that I did Fall of the Sycophants. That's a song I had a big part in, and had that beautiful intro, right? I love that. The solo, I don't really remember. I'd have to go back and listen to it, guys. I forget a lot of this stuff, but once I hear it, it'll come back to me. But Fall of the Sycophants is a song that we will absolutely play in my Hail the Horns set and also my solo shows because that's one of those songs again I had a big part in, and I don't think they'll ever play it again. Right? Sorry, I need more distortion. I'm on my jazz tone right now. But yeah, those are those were the songs that I personally love. That's my era. I had a big part in that, and I know the fans were very excited when we started going into that direction. Um, and that was my influence on the band, and it's not going to be forgotten. You know, I plan on keeping that flag up, raising it, and rocking it for you guys live. So make sure you come to my shows, and you will hear all those songs. I promise. Can you play part of Signum? You know what? I just did a playthrough video for that. It'll be released very soon. I don't have my 7 string, guys. I've been playing the 6 string a lot. But on 6 string, it would sound. Something like that. Sounds different on the 7 string. Obviously, it's a lot lower. You know that song. I just did a playthrough video for it. Actually, it's like a real music video for it. I wanted to do that because I really wrote that song um, for Soulfly fans. Honestly, straight up, it's a very groovy, kind of simplistic riffing. Very much kind of what we were doing, sort of with the Enslaved record, which had some more heavy riffs, but still were groovy and groove metal and bouncy. So Signum is a perfect example of that, and I love that song, man, and that's why we did the video, and I will be dropping that video very soon here on my YouTube channel. So be ready, man. It's one of my favorite videos that I've ever done, and I'm excited. And actually, I played this guitar in the video, so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, man. Any last questions before I get out of here? I'm running out of coffee, and I have to go get more. Any more last questions, guys? Conquer is the least great record of Soulfly. After the record sound to Rush, Max started to become too lazy on the stages. I agree with you. Good observation. Good quote or whatever you call it. Yes, I agree. And Conquer was a very, um, we had just finished the Cavalier Conspiracy record, and and I know I definitely wanted to raise the bar and get more thrashy, and that's where songs like "Fall of the Sycophants" made the record. Um, and El Nino are using a 7 string. I'm not sure yet because their stuff is in C. Revolution was in drop C, so I may play a 6 string and just keep it drop C. I don't know yet though. I'm still deciding what I want to do for the El Nino tour coming up. But yeah, Conquer was. I think it was just a very. We had our best songs like "Fall of the Sycophants." I thought "My Path," which was on the beat, the I think the Digi Pack, which is another song that to me was like the part 2 of Frontlines that I came up with. Was Max really playing live with unplugged guitar? You leave a comment. What matters is what you guys see and what you observe. So you leave a comment what you think. I was brought to you by loving Max's music, but soon realized everything I loved about Soulfly and Cavcom was because of your guitars. Well, thank you, Duff. I appreciate that. Again, I worked very, very hard on those records, and I appreciate that you have recognized all my hard work. Thank you. I appreciate that, bro. You're a good friend, Duff. Um, Even though we never met, but hopefully we'll meet one day. Yeah, so Conquer I thought was a very just kind of, I don't know what, like disjointed records. We had some of our best stuff on that record. I think the song Enemy Ghost was a great song. That's got actually one of my favorite solos. Some of my favorite solos are on Conquer, but then there were some songs on there um, that were just like very, very new metal, and I just didn't think fit where the band was going. There was a lot of weird things going on in the studio too. Um, there was a lot of weird stuff, just personal stuff going on, and I don't know. It was a very disjointed record. It should have came out a lot better than what it did. But there are some amazing songs on that, like My Path, For All the Psycho Fans, Enemy Ghost. You know, there's some really, really good songs on that record. And then there's some songs that, I, I don't know, could have been on the first Soulfly record. And I never was really a fan of that first record, honestly, man. You know me, I'm not really into the whole new metal thing, unless it's Slipknot. I love Slipknot. Washburn made you only a seven-string signature. Yes. I need to reconnect with those guys. I lost contact. My rep left the company. And from that day on, I just kind of lost contact with Washburn. I love my signature. I would love to continue still working with them. Um, but I don't even know who to contact right now. So if anyone has any pointers, please let me know. I was talking to Washburn about doing another signature seven string SG style shape. I think it would be dope. I think it would be sick. I think the fans would love it. We'll see. ESP. You know, again, guys, I love ESP. I think they're a great company. Everybody plays ESP. I had a little bit of a falling out years and years ago with one of their older reps who got a little weird with me about a lot of stuff. Um, and from that day on, I just kind of kept away from ESP just because everybody was playing them. Um, and again, a lot of their stuff is just modeled after Gibsons. I'd rather play Gibson. Um, so Washburn, yeah, they've been around forever, guys. They've been around forever, and they do make very high quality stuff. I've always loved Washburn. I'm a big Nuno Betancourt fan. I love his N4 model. Um, they keep going through changes at the company, so I got to reach out to them and see what's up. Brian C said, "How about Jackson? I love Jackson. Yo, Jackson is a great company. I have played Jacksons. I think they look great. They sound great. They're a great metal guitar. So yeah, that's maybe you never know. You know, I'd have to reach out and see what's up. You know, so. But honestly, I don't know, man. I'm not really. I'm at a point where I don't even care about being endorsed anymore. To me, it just doesn't mean being endorsed doesn't mean like what it meant 20 years ago. You know, they would really support you back in the day. Um, I love EMG pickups, man. That's what I usually use. But again, when I'm playing a nice Gibson, the quality and the craftsmanship that goes into a Gibson, I'm not touching it, man. I love what is here, you know. So I love it. But yeah, EMG is definitely for metal. They're my favorite pickups. You know, they're my favorite. But when I do my solo stuff, you know, I do different stuff as you can tell, jazz, funk, blues. I mix it with metal. So I like a little more, be a little more versatile with what I'm using, which this fits me perfect for my solo stuff. As did the Washburn, you know. I like everything, guys. You know, I mean, I'm not really into one thing, as you know. So, and I'm a positive person, so feels like you're almost trapped to solely play their brand. You love EMG 81. Yep, I do too. They're great. They're great guitars, guys. I mean pickups. I love EMG pickups. They're freaking awesome. I've always said that. So, not to make fun because I love Max's voice and songs, but I heard live videos where he was chumping the guitar parts. Just saying. Well, that's your observation, right, Duff? It is what it is, guys. You know, it is what it is. I don't know why. I don't know what goes on sometimes in people's heads, you know. But I love playing guitar. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Um, I like to make sure I'm in tune, well rehearsed, because I love this instrument. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. To me, more importantly than making money is picking this instrument up and enjoying the beautiful sounds that come out of it, man. That's more important than anything else. I'd rather be broke and have a guitar and play in tune. And we all see it, Mark, and carried those bands. Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate that you appreciate what I brought to it. Thank you very much. Yeah, guys. For me, man, it's not about money, man. I mean, I like money. We all do, and I want to be able to pay my bills and survive. Um, but I love the guitar. I love it. I love playing this instrument. Again, if I was homeless on the street playing guitar, I would be happy, man. I love it. I'm obsessed with the instrument. I was playing with Mike in Soulfly. I believe I saw one of his first shows. Mike's a great bass player, man. He's a very, very excellent bass player. Hey, thank you, Winter Synth. I appreciate it. Is that right? Yeah. He didn't. Who are my guitar heroes? I feel like in 5 or less years, Soulfly will be all Cavalera names. Yeah, maybe, right? Who are my guitar heroes? Eric Johnson, love him. I'm really into Eric Gales right now. I've been listening to a lot of more bluesy rock guys, man. Obviously Hendrix, Van Halen. I could go on forever. You know, all the greats. I was at your Soulfly in Russia. You were a super guitarist. Thanks for the. Well, thank you, comrade, in Russia. I appreciate that. You appreciate it. I always had a good time going to Russia, man. I think the fans are great there. What's your opinion about CC's Pandemonium? Good question, Eric Santos. The mix was terrible. I never had anything to do with the mixes. I wasn't allowed to ever be part of the mix down to hear anything. I would come in, do my guitar stuff, and then when it was time to mix the record, I was never allowed to be part of it, which I don't agree with. I don't think that's right to do. Um, any other band, I was always part of it, even El Nino. I mean, I was always part of the mix. So anyway, I had nothing to do with the mix of Pandemonium. And thank you, Dex. And I think it really suffered. It was a great record. I think Pandemonium really should have really been a great record. But man, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. It just when I got the mix down and heard the record, it was terrible, man. And I feel bad because I really enjoyed making that record. I enjoyed working with my good friend John Gray, who I think was great, who was part of the engineering. I don't know what happened during the mix down, but again, I wasn't there. I had no say in it. I would have never let that record go out the way it went out and the way it was mixed and mastered. It wasn't a professional mix. It wasn't a professional master job. Um, and it's sad because it really actually is a great record. There was a lot of great riffs. There's some songs on that record I think that um, really could have been great, and it just never reached its potential. And that's the politics of the band. Is you gotta do your parts, and then you have nothing else to be part of it. And it's sad because again, if I was part of that mix down, I would have never let that record go out the way it did. It just was not fair to the fans, and it was unacceptable. So, yeah, you're right, Brian. See, it was garbled, too cheap on the mix sounding, but it was the last few albums Max did felt like less effort and money was spent. Yeah, yeah, I could talk about that, but I won't. But yeah, you're right. I'm glad you recognize that, my friend. But the mix is terrible. The record sounds like a demo tape. Yeah, you're right, Eric. It did not didn't it didn't live up to what it should have, and It's sad because it really, you guys deserve better. I would never put out a record um, that sounded like that. I don't know why. I do know why, but you know, it just it shouldn't have happened. A lot of things got overlooked because of other things going on, and it's not fair. It's not fair, guys. Plus, the Soulfly sound changed to death metal almost overnight. Death metal influence, but I don't think we ever went full death metal, guys. I don't think we ever went full death metal. That's why I always say I love Enslaved because Enslaved had a death metal thrash influence, but there still was bouncy riffs. One of my favorite songs is Gladiator, and that's got that bouncy kind of riff to it. Thank you, Duff Drum. Everyone in the band should have input on the mixing. You're right. You're 100% right. But Soulfly does not work like that. It never did. Um, Nobody in the band was allowed to ever be part of the mix down. And I think it hurts. It hurts the quality of the records. You know, I mean, I think everybody in the band should be there for the mix with the producer and mix it all together to make sure that everything is heard and everybody's happy. But it's just it's the band. That's how it is. You know. Yeah, man, you're right, Brian C. Gladiator is the shit. That's one of my favorite songs on Enslaved. It should have been a single. It was very catchy. Has my style of riffing all over it, very similar to like that song Signum on my solo record Rotation. Very similar. It's got one of my favorite leads. Um, can I play it for you? I don't have my 7 string, guys. I gotta get my 7 string out. But Gladiator, I did a playthrough for it, so look it up. I mean, I'm playing the 6 string right now. That's like the main riff, you know. Books and movies. Sorry, I didn't see that message, guys. Listen, I promise. Next live feed I do, maybe tomorrow, I'll pull out my Washburn 7 string, and then I can play you those riffs. You know, 'cause it sounds weird on a 6 string, obviously, because the tuning. Close enough. Yeah, you're right, Brian. See, close enough. It's a great riff, great song. Dave Kincaid killed it. You know, a lot of Enslaved after Dave Kincaid quit. We couldn't play a lot of those songs anymore for obvious reasons, and yeah, a lot of those songs got lost. But I'll play them for you. Don't worry about it. Enslaved songs were brutal. Live saw you guys in 2012. Yeah, man, with Tony and Enslaved. That Tony and Kincaid. That was one of my favorite eras of the band. You know? Brian C says, "Born Stubborn was always your favorite song off of Roots." Sorry, Brian C. I was not a fan of the Roots record. I never liked that record. It was to me it was very influenced by Korn, and I appreciated the Brazilian element with the percussion, but I just didn't like the riffs. It just wasn't for me. And doing that tour when we went out and played Roots in its entirety, I really was not happy on that tour, man. It was not a fun. It was fun rocking out for the fans, but I didn't enjoy it guitar wise, you know. But I knew we were gonna do Beneath the Remains and Arise soon, so that's what made me hold on because I couldn't wait to play Beneath the Remains. I couldn't wait to learn Andrea's solos and try to pull them off to the best of my ability. So that's what got me through the Roots tour was that I knew next year we were gonna do Beneath the Remains and Arise, and I was very excited to do that because that was my favorite era of Sepultura was those years, the thrash stuff, you know. Yeah, so yeah, that's that. But it was fun, man. I know the fans that love that record, they had a good time, and I had a great time, you know, still rocking out with everybody. But it just for me, guitar wise, it wasn't really too much fun for me. And that's not because there wasn't really solos, man. Just I like more tuned up riffs, you know, more I like a lot of palm muting, heavy riffs, the thrash stuff. You know, that's what it is, guys. I'm not all about solos. I promise you. Yeah, right on, Brian. See, me and Tony are very excited, and you know, wait till you hear we're about to drop a new original song for Hail the Horns that Tony sings on, and dude, it's thrash. You know, we're looking to put out a thrash record. So yeah, get ready, man. This is very exciting what me and Tony and Opus are doing with Hail the Horns, guys. I promise you that. So good observation, Duff. It's awesome how heavy your music is, almost on E standard. Listen, man, it doesn't matter what you're tuned to, guys. And honestly, when you're tuned to E, I think it's heavier to do palm muting. I think it's, to me, a riff in standard E, old school Metallica, and Justice for All, Master of Puppets. That's all in E standard for the most part. Slayer riffs, you know. It's more intricate to play. It's you know, to get the palm muting going. I mean, to me, that's heavier than doing 7 string style B tuning riffs, man. It's I don't know. That's just me though. I'm old school, guys. You know, but I just prefer it. That's why I all my solo stuff is basically in E standard. Um, Although rotation, I did pull out the 7 string for, but I think my new solo record will be in E standard everything. So, did members of Sadist do some roadie work? I don't know what that means, bro. I don't know what you mean. Sadist, the band, they're a great band, but I don't know what you're talking about. Roadie work. I don't understand. I don't know what you mean, though, man. I don't know anyone from Sadist. I love that band, but I don't know those guys. Max mentioned them being at the Soulfly Cavalier conspiracy gig. All right, well maybe they were there, but I don't know those guys. I never met Sadist. I love Sadist though; they're amazing. But I don't know. I don't. They never roadied for us or anything like that. But they are a great band. Check out Sadist. That's a great band. With COC, with Corrosion of Conformity, I don't know, man. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. So. All right, man. I got to get out of here. Um, so anyway, thank you. Help spread the word about my YouTube channel, guys. Best random tape I ever got because it was on Roadrunner Records. Yeah, you're right, Brian. So you say this is they were freaking great, man. I love that era, man. They were like a thrash band starting to go death metal. I love Sadist. They're freaking crazy, man. How good they were. All right, man. Well, everyone have a great day. Help me spread this channel. Subscribe. I'm gonna be doing a lot more cool playthroughs, videos, and like this. We hang out. I play, talk, answer questions, and you get the truth here, and nothing but the truth. So, all right, guys, have a great day. Peace.